Hi guys, from this month's BBC Good Food magazine I decided to make this beautiful broccoli, Gruyere and chorizo soup, and it was so hearty and warming, just what you need on these cold days. The soup is topped with crispy chorizo pieces and some really tangy, nutty Gruyere, which goes really nicely with green veg. So start off with 800 grams of broccoli florets. I'm using 4 of these small heads and discard the stems or the cores. I'd weigh this before I wash it because when you wash broccoli it can store a lot of water, which can mess with the weight of it. Next, take about 150 grams of chorizo and just cut it into cubes and set it aside until later. Now take some Gruyere and cut the rinds off. You'll need about 150 grams of this, and go ahead and coarsely grate it. When you're done, transfer it all to a bowl and set that aside until later too. Now take 1 onion and peel it and dice it up. You don't have to dice this up very small. Once it's cooked, it's all going to be blended, so it's all good. Now transfer to a plate and set aside. Now take your garlic. The recipe calls for 2 cloves here, but I always use more, so here I'm using 6. They are small cloves though, so if you want to weight, they weigh 14 grams. Now just chop them up. Again, these don't have to be very fine at all. They're going to be fried and then boiled and then blitzed, so you can leave them coarse if you like. Once chopped, you can go ahead and add them to the onion because they'll all be added at the same time. Now take a dry frying pan and add 1 tablespoon of fennel seeds and 1 tablespoon of yellow mustard seeds. And over a high heat, just toast them for a minute or 2 until they become really aromatic and the mustard seeds start to pop. Then transfer them to a pestle and mortar and go ahead and bash them up until they're pretty finely ground. Now take a large saucepan and add your chorizo. The recipe says to cook this over a medium heat for 4 minutes until the oils have all rendered out, but I think cooking it on a lower heat for longer allows more oil to render out. So once all those spicy chorizo oils have rendered out of the chorizo, with a slotted spoon, go ahead and remove the chorizo cubes. Add a tablespoon of rapeseed oil over a medium heat and add the onion and garlic. Toss them about in the spicy oil and then let them cook over a medium heat for 10 minutes, stirring occasionally until they're softened. 10 minutes later, give them another quick stir before you add your ground spices. Mix those in and let them cook for 1 minute. Now pile in those washed broccoli florets. Pour over 1.5 liters of chicken stock. Turn up the heat to max and bring it to the boil. Try to push those florets below the water as well. Now clamp the lid on, turn the heat down to low, and the recipe says to let simmer for 5 minutes until the broccoli is tender, though that actually took me closer to 10 minutes. Check it every so often, but once the broccoli is tender, go ahead and blitz it up. I think the easiest way to do this is with an immersion blender, but if you have a normal blender instead, go ahead and transfer it to that. Just make sure that the blender is capable of blending hot liquids and you remove the spout on top, otherwise it might explode. Whatever blender you use, just blend until smooth. Now take the grated Gruyere from earlier and add about 2/3 of it to the soup. Mix that in just until it melts and then add 3 tablespoons of double cream. Mix that in as well. Then taste for seasoning and adjust if needs be. Now just clamp the lid on and serve at the table. Serve the crispy chorizo and the remaining Gruyere next to it so people can help themselves. Now just tuck in and enjoy. This is such a delicious winter warmer, perfect for this cold weather. Thanks a million for watching, guys. I hope you liked this video. If you did, hit the like button below and hit the subscribe button to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Be sure to let me know how you got on. If you tried this recipe yourself, you can let me know on social media. You'll find all the links to my accounts in the description below, as well as the link to my blog where you'll find this full recipe at www.rookiecook.org.